Hi guys, it's Jordan from B&B Campers. Just going to do your handover video on your Autosleeper Executive. So we're starting with the bonnet here. Got your engine battery over here on the left hand side. Brake fluid attached to the servo just down the back there. This top reservoir just here. Engine oil, power steering fluid, sorry, just here at the front. In this top reservoir, you can see there the level on the front. If you check that about a bit, you can see there, nice red colour. Exactly how it should be. Engine oil goes in through this top bit just here. So engine oil goes in there, and you've got your dipstick just there for the engine oil as well. You can top the engine oil up from this point here at the front as well if you want to, but that's up to you. It's not too difficult to get down to that back part. It's down to you. Engine coolant sits in this top reservoir over here on the right hand side. So obviously don't open that when it's been running, or if it's at all hot. And you can see there your fluid level is just there, perfect level, just between the minimum and maximum line, which you should check when the engine's cold. Your washer fluid is over here on the right hand side, and you can see all of the bits and pieces have all been done and checked to the correct levels. You've got a couple of fuses and relays and things under this box just here, so if you ever needed anything, that's all Fiat related or Peugeot related on this particular one. So it's up to you. If you want to have a look in there, you can do, but you shouldn't need to get to any of that really. Air filter sits inside this box just over here, and otherwise I think that's about it really. The van itself drives really nicely. Yeah, so it's a diesel vehicle. Diesel filling cap, it's just inside here. We need your ignition key to get that open, but it's nice and easy to get to. I don't think there's a huge amount to show you on the passenger side here, apart from your electric window. The switch just here, I'm not sure what that's for exactly. It must power something, but I'll find out for you what that does. Anyway, right, so you've got a little power socket down here. So if your hookup cable was plugged into the vehicle, then you'll be able to use that power down there, as well as all the other ones that are dotted around the vehicle, but I will show you those as well, if I don't forget. Gas locker is down here, so on this near side. You've got space for two of these 6 kilo propane bottles. This one will be full, or very, very nearly full at least. Pigtail, you've got, what's the date on that one? Bit awkward to see sometimes. Product date 2021, so you've got till 26 to replace this. External gas point, so you see you've got your isolator tap for that just here, and so basically just turn it 90 degrees and now the gas flows through that pipe over to here to your gas point. I'll switch that off for now just as it's not being used. Turn the gas bottle on, you go anti-clockwise around to the left, and turn it off, you go clockwise around to the right. And other than that, all you need to know really is that obviously you take this nut off here to put it onto your new bottle, but you haven't got to worry about any of this stuff apart from this one here. If you want to turn your gas point on outside, just turn it so that it's facing the direction of the pipe. So obviously, like I said, that's your gas point there. Your freshwater inlet, this one just here. I'll just show you how that works and what key it is. So that's this key just here. If you watch, literally pop the key in, turn it, and then it'll come out. And then line it up, and that's it. So you use that, nice and easy. There's a couple of vents just in here, so these are for your fridge. So you don't actually have to do anything with these, but if your fridge was lit up on gas, which it is at the moment, you can feel a little bit of warm air coming out through the top just here, because it's basically the exhaust for your fridge. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out to you. Put this door back, little retainer there to hold the door still, like that. Your step is manual, so to get that to pull in and out, you literally just, when it's out like that, it's fine, it's stable. Pull up from the front, and then it will just retract on its own. I didn't push it, that's literally just doing its own thing, like that. All right. The back of the van, we've got some steadies there which have been lubricated up as part of the habitation check. bike rack, obviously all your bits and pieces there. The reversing camera works really well. Ladder to get up onto the roof. If you want to use that, it's up to you. So we've got your toilet cassette locker. So flush fluid at the top here. So this is where you actually fill up your flush fluid from. And that should always be your nice pink fluid. Years ago it used to be green, but it's not anymore, it's all pink. And your little level indicator for that is just there. So that's pretty much perfect level. Anywhere between there and about here is perfect level for that. So just keep your eye on that. If you want to drain it out for any reason, you can either undo it from here and drain it out, which you won't really get very much of it out doing that, or you can pull this out from the bottom, one hand, and then put it down from the top, and then this comes out, and then you can basically just do this, look, and then that will just drain out all of your flush fluid. Put it up to a stop, and then push it back up into the little bit in there, like that, and then push this bit back, and that's it. So that's your flush fluid. So just basically keep your eye on that. To remove your cassette, push down on this button here, pull the actual cassette out towards you. I'm not going to be able to get it out because of where this van is next door to it, but basically all you need to know is that obviously you drain it out from here, and when you're actually draining, you need to hold down the little yellow tab there at the back. It's like an air pressure release valve, so essentially when you hold that down, everything will come out of here much easier. So yeah, just something to point out. Push that all the way back, and by the way, you've got the bigger style cassette in here rather than the other ones, because you've got like a bench seat style toilet. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. So to lock that up, have the keys. Key go in, and if you see what happens, that's how the actual mechanism works. So you literally put it in flat and then turn it, take the key out, and that's locked in place. Down low we've got a couple of these. So you've got this one here, which is your wastewater drain. So just turn that all the way and that'll drain out all of your wastewater. And the one just here at the front is your freshwater drain. So you just turn that exactly the same way, like that. Turn that back over to the right, stop that coming through. Your hookup point, this one just here. So if you're at home or at your campsite, hookup cable goes in there, and then that, like I said, will give you access to any of your 3-pin 240 volt sockets, and also a few other bits and pieces inside there, which I'll show you how to use in a minute. Just storage underneath here. The key for that is this one, and if I just show you, it's kind of like wet storage if you like. So your jack and wheel brace and things are in there, your steady winders, all that sort of stuff. And the last bit to show you on the outside is your boiler vent, which is this one here. I've got the boiler lit up at the moment, and I can feel warm air coming out through the top of this vent just here. And so that's another way that you can prove to yourself that it's definitely working. Right, so in the cab, you've got a nice high spec cab. You've got electric adjusting mirrors, which go from that little dial there. Obviously both your electric windows. The reversing camera, which like I said works really well. What have we got on here? Reasonably low mileage, I know that much. 60,000, yeah. Single DIN Sony head unit there, so I'm pretty certain that'll all work. Let me turn that on, or there might be a switch for it. Perhaps that's what that switch is for over there. Yeah, probably. Or actually, radio isolator switch. Hold on a minute. There you go. So on these, that's what I just remembered just then, on these Autosleepers, you've got here where it says radio isolator switch, you've got this little button here. So if I turn this off now, like that, the radio in the front turns off. It means that you can basically use it without having the ignition on and all that sort of stuff. You can use it like whilst you're using the vehicle. So, oh yeah, there you go, that's why. So in some of the vans, they've got the speakers fitted in the back of the van, so these would have been fitted from new because they've got the original ceiling roof liner on it. So you can literally put the radio on at any point by turning it on. With this is on and that's off. So if you want to use that, then you can do. A lot of people do. But yeah, it's nice having the speakers in the back there, so you can use them whilst you're sat at the back. Other than that, I'll just turn this off now. Don't want to drain the battery out. Other than that, you've got a 5-speed manual gearbox. Reverse is lift up here, over and up to the top left to find reverse. Hazard lights, just there in the middle. Fog light. Heated rear window switch obviously won't do anything because there's no heated rear window anymore because it's a motorhome. And all of your heated controls, just here. Lights are turning on this left-hand stalk, washers and wipers on the right, like that. So we've got this storage bit over the top, so you can either get to it, I know that you've seen this before, but you can either get to it like that, which is where obviously all the mattressy bits are for the bed as well. So you can get to it from there if you want to, or you can undo both of these tabs and lay it all down flat. So that's all up there. Push that back away for now. Like that. So there's various lights around the vehicle, which I'll show you how to turn on in just a minute. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll do that now. I'll do the control panel stuff now because that's probably the most sort of straightforward way to do it. So it looks like it's got a lot of buttons, but it's really not. You've got this one here, which is the main on and off switch. You want to leave this on hab if you want to use the van, if you want to use your power in the back of the vehicle, so you know, your lights and fan and all that sort of stuff. You want to go up to hab because that means that everything's being powered from your leisure battery. If you turn it down to vehicle, essentially anything that you use in the vehicle, so if I turn this light on, if I had that on vehicle, that's being powered from your vehicle battery, and so obviously after a little while your engine battery will die and you won't be able to start it up. So it's quite important to have it on habitation if you're going to use it. Once you've done that, turn all 4 of these bottom ones on, which are all light switches basically, or power switches. Once you've done that, you should be able to use your lights and things like that. The main lights on and off switch is this one just here, so if I go down like that, every single light in the vehicle will turn off. But so we leave that one on. So basically, up on hab, up on the lights, and then up on all 4 of those. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. You've got a battery tester switch, so push and hold on that, and it shows you've got between 12 and 13 volts in your leisure battery, which is really good. And you've also got a pump switch over here, so I've got that in the on position as well. And so whenever I get to any of the taps, I'll have pressurized water coming out. And then when you turn the water off, the pump will turn itself off because it works on pressure. So having that button on there will allow the pump to work. And then the button next door to it, which says test as well, is testing your water level. So if we press and hold there, full. So that means that your fresh water is full. Okay. So it's all nice and straightforward up there. Make sure you're on hab. Lights and pump switch are on, all that sort of stuff if you want to use the van sort of properly, if you like. Where are we? This right down here. So we've got a 12-volt main isolator switch just here, and a awning light switch just next door to it. So this light here does your awning light. That turns that on. A bit awkward to see it in the sun, but that's that. So yeah, like I said, this is a main 12-volt isolator. So if you turn this off, everything turns off. So make sure that you leave that one on, unless you're going to leave the van for a few weeks or so and you don't want anything to sort of die. You can turn that off there if you want to. So that's still running, it's my fault. Okay, so once you come into the van, if you want to heat your water up and sort of do things like that, have shower, all that sort of stuff, the first thing you need to do, 100% first thing you need to do, is turn your pump on and just come to the tap here. Just do what I just did a minute ago. So just basically pull the water through. Start on the left hand side. If it's coming through okay, turn it around to the right. If it's still coming through okay, turn it off and make sure the pump turns off. which it has done. So now I'm confident that the boiler is full of water. If the boiler wasn't full of water, then basically what happens is if you try and light the boiler up with there's nothing in it, it'll just overheat. It'll just get too hot. So it's really important that you do this to prove to yourself that it's full of water before you start trying to light it up. But yeah, once you've done that, you're good to go. It's fine. Boiler drain will be underneath this this bit just here. So if I open this up, might be able to see it. Well, that must be in the one that I'm sat right in front of, obviously. So yeah, so the water pump is just here. So it's a shore flow water pump. And you've got the little yellow lever just there. So the way it is now, so that's sort of like laying flat, you need to turn that up, right? So vertical, if you want to drain the water out of it. So let me just quickly explain. If you want to drain the water out of the boiler, it's probably because it's got to a really, really cold temperature and you're not going to use the van. So basically, if you're going to be, literally, if you're not going to use the van at all, it's just going to be in storage or whatever, and it's going to get sort of minus temperature, really, really, really cold in here, you need to make sure that you drop that water out from the boiler before that happens. If you imagine that the pump works on pressure, so every single pipe around this vehicle right now, because I've got that pump switch on and the pump isn't running, every single pipe, so this pipe here, every single pipe is pressurized with water. And if it freezes inside that pipe, it'll expand and it'll crack the pipe. So you need to make sure that you drain the water out from that boiler first before you get to freezing temperatures if you're not using the van. If you're using the van and keeping it warm in here, then it's fine because it won't obviously freeze. But yeah, really important to keep that in mind. That's there. What else do we have? You should have a little button in there, I think, for your charger, if I remember rightly from other ones. Yeah, there should be it. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little on and off switch. Sorry, I don't know, you can't see it on the video, but there's a little on and off switch in there for your battery charger. So when you plug in on mains, you can turn it on and off from in there if you want to, but if I was you, I would just leave that, because when you plug it in, it'll just automatically come on, which obviously you want. The second you plug that in, the leisure battery is going to be being charged up, so that's great. The little button underneath that as well is the water heater on mains. So if you were plugged in on a mains hookup and you turned that on, you'd get a little light next door to there, and it would just basically start drawing a little bit of power from your mains cable to heat the water up inside the boiler. Obviously it works on gas as well, which I'll show you how to do as well, but I just thought I'd point that out to you just so that you know it's there behind this cupboard door. It's also really important to remember to turn that off when you have finished using it, because if you plug your hookup cable in and forget that that's switched on and there's no water in the boiler, for example, then basically it's going to be bad. You're going to start heating the boiler up with no water in it, and it'll be a bit ugly. So make sure that you turn that off when you finish with it. I'm not trying to scare you with that, by the way. I'm just sort of letting you know it's really important to turn that off when you're finished using it. Loads of storage under there. Your leisure battery probably sits under the driver's seat there, does it? Yeah, so leisure battery is under there. If you ever needed to get to that, then you can do. Okay, so the next bits I would imagine is probably, I'll show you these bits here. So they lay them out in a little bit of an awkward way to explain. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy peasy, but to actually explain it, it's a little bit awkward. So the right hand side here, you've got Ultra Store, and the water heater switch is also Ultra Store. So Ultra Store is the name of your boiler, so that's the name of your hot water basically. So if you want to use it on mains electric, if you've plugged in on mains, you can use that button down there if you want to. But if you've just turned your gas on and you don't have any mains plugged in, you can do it from here as well. So all you have to do to actually light the boiler up on gas is turn it once around to the right, and then choose between 30 and 70 degrees, and then just leave it. It'll just light up and do its thing. After about half an hour or so, or maybe a little bit longer, I think half an hour is probably probably a decent amount of time to wait. You have a little bit of hot water at your taps. It basically, yeah, half an hour is a decent amount of time to wait. It turns itself on and off as and when it needs to keep that temperature, whatever you set it to. So I think by now, actually, I switched it on just before we started the video. So if I try now, it displays hot first. There you go. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually really hot already. So after about 25 minutes or so, it's already hot. So that's just for your information, just so you can see that that's working. I know you can't actually see that it's hot, obviously, but yeah. Right. So that's your hot water on gas. All right. You can turn that one off again just by turning it back to that little circle. The one next to it is ultra heat, and that's all got to do with this heating space heater. All right. So I'll leave this one just for a minute and I'll come back to it. I'll show you how to use this. In fact, I might as well show you that bit first. So if you want to heat the van up, you have to go to this down here. It all works from this one unit. But if you want to do it via the mains electric, all you have to do is come in here, press that button on if your mains is plugged in, like I said, obviously. And then once you turn that button on and your mains is plugged in, you'll be able to choose 500, 1,000 or 2,000. And that's the amount of watts that the elements use, basically. So if you want to heat the van up via the electric, that switch in there turns on, and then you come to here and choose between 500, 1,000 or 2,000, and then just basically let it do its thing. All right, so that's the mains way of heating the van up. If you want to heat the van up via the gas, it's also just nice and easy. All you have to do is it's all just from this left-hand dial just here. You've got a little peephole down here. All you have to do, basically, you've got an electric ignition. So turn it around to sort of 2 or 3, like that. You can hear it already, the ignition is ticking away. All you have to do from this point is just push down. So push down on it. Ignition stops, and you can see in there, nice blue flame starts. Now all I'm going to do is lift up on this and turn it around to sort of 6 or 7. All right, so just watch what happens. See there, the main flame kicked in. Sometimes when you do that from cold, especially when it's actually cold outside, when you turn that main flame on, it'll sort of like whoosh on like that, but then sometimes it'll just turn itself off and start clicking again. And all you have to do is just push down and hold it for a little while longer, and just do it once or twice more, and then it will stay on. All right, once that's on, this unit here will just begin to get really, really hot. Then all you have to do, and the same applies, by the way, if you're going to use it on the mains, you've got a fan over here. So push this to the left and then choose between 1 and 5. And basically you just get hot air pumping out to those little circular vents around the vehicle. There's probably one in the bathroom as well. But yeah, so however way you heat this up, whether it's via the gas here or the mains electric up there, you've got the fan here to pump the hot air around. So turn that off, back around to 0. See, no more flame inside there, and then turn your fan off. If you've had this heating on for a little while, sort of like, for example, like half an hour or so, it's really important to leave this fan running for a little bit extra after you switch it off, because it sort of takes a little while to cool down, basically, because they get really, really hot. Right, next bit I want to show you is, before I forget, in this wardrobe. So you've got your mains trips in here. So basically, if you plug your mains cable into the vehicle, obviously all the power runs through here and then goes to all of your appliances. But if something went wrong, like the fridge element, you know, kicked up a fuss or something happened, it would trip one of these 3 on the right if it was an appliance. But if you plugged a dodgy plug into one of the sockets, it would probably trip this one here on the left, which is your main RCD. So just keep your eye on these sockets, make sure they're all in the upright position and showing a bit of red there. If they are, then they should all work. Right, the fridge So one thing I want to show you about the fridge is that you've got an isolator tap for that down there. The isolator taps, by the way, all work exactly the same way. Basically just follow the shape of the follow the line of the pipe. So you see there now it's in line with the pipe, so it's going to allow gas through it. So basically, you know, follow that. You've got this little table thing that comes out as well, all the way across there like that. Actually, I only just noticed that, to be honest. Right, so these fridges are really, really nice and simple. You've got a little freezer box inside here. So the one thing I'm going to point out first, which I do on all of these videos, is that motorhome fridges work a very specific way. And once you've got the hang of it, it's easy, but you need to, you know, make sure that you know how they work, really. So you got all of your gas stuff over here on the right. Mains electric is this switch here, and 12-volt power is this one here. Okay, so the way it works is you either need to get the fridge cold first via the gas or the mains electric when your mains is plugged in, and once you've done that, you can then switch over to 12-volt, which is only going to work when your engine's running. So 12-volt is the only way you can use this fridge when your engine's running and you're driving, but you need to make sure that it's already cold, because the 12-volt only holds temperature. It doesn't get the fridge cold on its own. Okay, normal fridges, like I know that you've probably got one in your van, that would be a 12-volt fridge, but they work in a completely different way. The 12-volt on those, obviously they do work to get the fridge cold on their own, but that's because that's how they're designed. These fridges designed so that the gas and the mains get the fridge cold, and then you just hold the temperature for whilst you're driving with this one. Okay, so basically what happens is when you start the engine up, you get power running from your alternator to your engine battery, obviously, to keep it charged up. But from there, you've got a split relay which sends power from your engine battery, or from the alternator basically, to your leisure battery as well. And in that alternator to leisure, you've also got a D+ signal, is what it's called, and that comes back to the fridge, so that when you start the engine up, you can use this button here to cool the fridge. So the way to use it on gas, as long as your gas is on, I'll turn it off because I've got it lit up on gas at the moment. All you have to do is literally turn this little switch on here, which is your igniter. You can see it flashing and you can probably hear it clicking as well. All you have to do, push in on this one and round to the left. Igniter stops straight away and it's lit up. The reason it's lit up that quickly for me is because I've only just turned it off, obviously. So when you first light this up, it will take a little bit longer. It might turn itself off and then back on again a couple of times. But once you've got it on like that, it's, like you can see it now, it's on. So you can either check that by looking down that hole there and seeing a little blue flame. I don't know if you can see it on the video or not, probably not. It is there, but yeah, awkward to see it on the video. So you can either look down there and check it, make sure that your igniter switch is not clicking anymore, or go around to the outside and put your hand over that vent like I showed you. So it's up to you. But that's how you use it on gas. If your mains is plugged in, you can literally just turn that button on there. And if your engine's running, like I said, you can use your red switch. So that's your fridge. Make sure that you turn that off before you start driving. And then, like I said, start the engine up, switch that one on. All right. So that's your fridge. Cooker, nice and simple on the cooker. You've got an ignition switch here. So the ignition switch does everything gas on this cooker. So it does your 3 burners, the grill and the oven. You've got an electric hob ring there. So if you've got your electric mains plugged in, you can use this from 1 to 6 and it'll just basically just get hot. It's just a hot plate. So if you want to use it like that, then you can do. Otherwise, you've got the 3 burners there. The bathroom is all pretty straightforward. You can see there the window's in as well. I need to fit the couple of brackets on that, but yeah, that's very, very nearly done. I've just got the other stays in the office that I need to literally just screw on and put on. So you can see there, obviously a nice brand new window rather than the one that you saw before. The sink in here is all nice and simple. It's a whale system, so they're all nice and reliable. You can see that there's no drain in the actual sink itself, So when you turn this on and allow the water through, just fill this up however much you want. Get into a bit of pressure. And so just by the way, all of that sort of stuff is totally normal. It's because there's quite a high pressure in the water system, so that kind of noise is quite normal. But when you come to drain this out, literally just slowly tip it down the back until it's all gone, and then just push it all the way up like that. Shower is all there. Obviously I'm not going to show you that because I'll get soaking wet, but it's all there and working. And your toilet system is really, really simple. Push down on this button here to get the flush fluid to pump around, and then just twist it to get it to drain into the cassette. You need to make sure that you turn it back round so that it's closed whenever you're finished with it, because for a couple of reasons. If you don't do that, obviously you get a bad smell coming back into the van, and also if you don't close it back over, you won't be able to take the cassette out from outside. So I think that's about all I can show you. If there's anything else you think I've missed out or anything you want going through again, just let us know. But otherwise I look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.